Come. Let's go to Gabon, Cameroon, and Namibia by Terry Lister. Hi guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel and to the review of Let's Go to Gabon, Cameroon, and Namibia. So this is another travelogue novel from Terry Lister, and if you've been watching my review or following my review for quite a lot of time now, you must have seen that I'm a huge fan of Terry Lister's writing. I've read quite a lot of his books, even most of them are also travelogue. And it's quite amazing actually today to be reading Let's Go to Gabon, Cameroon, and Namibia. You know, from reading some of Terry Lister's writing, I've read his Fox novel, Immersed in West Africa. I've also read A New Day Dawn, My Solo Journey into West Africa. I've read Love, Peace and Joy, Christmas in Africa, which I consider very amazing because that particular writing detailed Terry Lister's event in Africa, how Christmas have been celebrated in some African countries that he visited in the novel, and quite a lot of other things encapsulated in it. But this particular one actually piqued my interest, and I've never loved any of Terry Lister's writing than this. So this particular one, Let's Go to Gabon, Let's Go to Cameroon, and Namibia, really piqued my interest. My review of the book is going to be a bit different from my review of other book, of course. But then I would love to start from Terry Lister's Fox Journey. You know, he lives in Bermuda, so he boarded, of course, a plane to go to the first country of his particular adventure, and that was Gabon. Terry Lister's writing and description of Gabon is actually quite fine, quite lovely, and quite admirable. And I love his description of Gabon. Some fun fact actually that I imbibed in the book that I found very amazing and quite captivating. Knowing that Gabon is under or a bit just over, because currently the population must have increased, let's say around with 2 million people, which is not even up to the quarter of Lagos state alone in Nigeria. You know, there are quite a lot of countries in Africa that most people do not even know about. And that's one of the reasons why I kind of consider Terry Lister's writing very amazing and quite lovely. So in its visit to Gabon, I was able to visit Lope National Park, which is considered the second largest park in the whole of Gabon. Then he visited Likoni National Park as well. But then the adventure of Gabon, the description of Gabon by Terry Lister here, made for an interesting read. It's quite educative, it's very informative. At some point I was like, oh wow, really? There are quite a lot of things that I do not know about some African countries, even as an African. But reading Terry Lister's writing, this particular one, Let's Go to Gabon, Cameroon, and Namibia, it rekindles my love and admiration for traveling. But then, Terry Lister's writing style here, describing the situation, the scenarios, his experiences in Gabon, have a bit of humor, especially the part where he met. I was able to take a picture with a Gabonese snake, which is really very huge, while I saw a picture of it, because according to the narration will be told here, and there will be a picture to back up the narration, which I kind of think that added more interesting features and, you know, spice to the novel entirely. It talked about the wildlife, the culture of the Gabonese people, and more in it that really make for an interesting discussion. Now let's come to Terry Lister's adventure to Cameroon. Cameroon is even a neighboring country to Nigeria, and when I read through Terry Lister's, you know, adventure, read through his journey in Cameroon, I was really intrigued. One of the facts that I got to know about Cameroon is the fact that Cameroon has only had 2 presidents since 1960. You can imagine that. 2 presidents since 1960. Now if you look at the distance between 2023, which we are currently in, and 1960, that's a huge bunch of 60 something years. That's a decade is 10 years. That's 6 decades. 2 presidents. Can you imagine that? When I read that part, I was like, really? Is this? No, this is unbelievable. So, but then I had to pull up my phone and ask Google, and I was like, really? This is really true. I can't imagine the level of corruption. Sorry, this is actually not in the book. But then, when I read through the part, and I'm gonna come back to it because I remember mentioning this in my written review, that I expected to release at some certain point to delve much deep into some certain issues. Then it kind of ignored those parts I think is gonna delve much deep into, and move into his own narration, his own personal experience living in this country, his own travelogue, because then this is meant to be a travelogue. It's meant to be an adventure, a solo traveler in a journal and writing down everything he sees in the journal and all of that. But then when I come to know about the fact that Cameroon has only had two presidents since 1960, I was quite surprised. I was quite surprised how is the government being done, quite surprised, the Anglophone and the Francophone crisis in the country. I find it very unbelievable actually, because I was quite looking into some political instability that's gonna arise as a result of having two people so far since 1960 ruling the country. Even a country that is fixed on a 4-year tenure still have some issues with bribery and corruption and all of that, much less one where two people has ruled in decades. Anyway, coming back to the book, sorry, that's just my own narration. Coming back to the book, I love Tourlistas, the description of Cameroon. He had a lot of fun facts about the country that I myself do not even know about. Yeah, a lot of things about the natural resources, and yeah, I want to say that I love Tourlistas' captivation. I love Tourlistas' talk on the natural resources that the country have. And again, this is something I kind of consider very admirable in his writing style, and that's the introduction. It's a kind of a soft introduction or an overview, I love to consider it, of the country that he's visiting before he now talk about his own actual experiences in those countries. Take for instance, he's going to write about Namibia, he's going to write about Gabon, he's going to write about Cameroon. He'll first introduce us that Cameroon did this, they gained independence this year, which I consider very historical actually. And then there's a bit of colonization history and story contained in the novel that particularly intrigued me. That's towards the action of Namibia, and I'm coming back to that this review, though I won't be giving too much away because I attempt to make this review spoiler free. Now, I love Tourlistas' adventure in Cameroon. It's quite nice to do his visit to Villa, Mandasi Bells, and quite a lot of other places. It's quite nice to know that Cameroon is the 30th largest exporter of coffee in the world, and there's quite a lot of other fun facts about Cameroon that Tourlista talked about. His visit was quite adventurous. I think he spent more days in Cameroon more than he spent in Gabon and Namibia. I was able to visit the capital city, took some tour to some other places of tourist attraction and many other places, and it really made for an interesting discussion. It really made for an interesting read. I also love to mention that this book actually is written in a first-person point of view, which I think added more charm to the writing style. Now let's talk about Tourlista's visit to Namibia. His description of Namibia is so wonderful that even while I was reading the book, I had to pause and go on YouTube to make some research about Namibia. I was able to watch the aerial view of the capital city. I was able to research who the Imba tribe of Namibia are. I was able to make some research about how the German got into the country seeking for diamonds, and many of the things that Tourlista talked about in the book are very amazing and quite lovely. And it really added more spice to the making of the book. It added more charm to the characterization, added more charm to the storytelling techniques, added more charm to the description of certain things in the novel. It's quite nice also to know about places like Luderics and quite a lot of other places mentioned in the book, historical places actually mentioned in the book. In my attempt to keep my review a spoiler free, I wouldn't love to give much away, but then I want to say that I particularly love Tourlista's writing style. One part has a bit of humor, while other part are told from the point of view of what I would love to consider an observer, someone who is traveling miles and detailing and penning his experiences down. It talked about the people he met in the hotel, the reception, the food, the taxi drivers, and many more, the film, the football, and many more things. It mentioned the natural resources, which I consider very amazing. Some part talk about uranium, some part talk about coffee, and many other things. And I would love to say that I particularly love tourist adventure into Namibia, because I kind of think that Namibia sounds like a very amazing place to be, and it really rekindles the book. Generally rekindles my love and admiration for traveling. It rekindles and made me a bit eager to want to explore some of this country that Tourlista talked about. It has a blend of colonization, a blend of history, a blend of quite a lot of things encapsulated in the book, and it really made for an interesting discussion. So if you would love to get a copy of this book, I left a link in the description part of this review where you can get a copy directly on Amazon. And if you watch this video to this point, and you have to click on the subscribe button. I want to urge you to please click on the subscribe button over there. Don't forget to turn on the notification bell so you can get notified whenever I release new videos. And again, if you want to watch my old reviews of some of Terrelista's writing, I left them in the description part of this review. Some of those videos are done a year ago, several months ago, and they're quite amazing. The likes of A New Day Dawn, My Soul Journey into West Africa, the likes of Peace, Love and Joy, Christmas in Africa, and the likes of Remaxed in Africa, and also an interview that I had with Terrelista many months ago as well. I left all of the links in the description part of this review just so you might want to check it out. Yeah, so this is an impressive travelogue. Reading it was quite fun. It rekindles my love for traveling. It gets me to know more a bit about colonization history. It's a travelogue actually that has a blend of colonization, has a blend of history in it, and it's well written, it's brilliant. The writing style is quite interesting, it's quite pulling, it's captivating, and it really holds my sincere recommendation. It really holds my sincere praise. Yeah, so this one I'm gonna love to stop my review of Let's Go to Gabon, Cameroon and Namibia by Terrelista. See you in my next video. Goodbye.